Hi, I'm Aaron Lathan. I'm a real estate consultant here in the city of Houston. You don't care anything about that. You want to know what it's like living in the city, so we're going to hop right into it. So, I am what I would call a city boy, right? I live in the Independence Heights area, just north of the Heights, and I love the city, right? There's some things, there's some pros, some cons to every city, but I'm going to give you a recap of what I think it's like to live in the city. And the first thing, and this is from somebody that's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Louisiana is basically like a little college town. If Southern University or LSU aren't in school at the point in time, it's basically like a little ghost town. Very small town compared to anything like a Houston or San Antonio where we moved to after we left Baton Rouge, but definitely Houston. Houston's on a whole nother level compared to Baton Rouge, right? So coming to it from that perspective, these are some of the things that I think you should know if you're thinking about like relocating to or moving to the city of Houston, kind of like we did a few years ago. So first thing to know is that it is super diverse. Like there are so many different cultures, there's so many different opportunities, there's so many different people to kind of like to broaden your horizons and get out of the bubble that you once were if you were coming from a smaller town or not as a diverse town or city. This is the place to be a melting pot and just understand that the world is bigger than you. There's cultures bigger than you. There's things that are bigger than your little problems in the world, right? And Houston is one of those places where you have the opportunity to do that. You can get some people that are from some of the more rural parts of Texas. You got some people that are coming from big cities and big states that have relocated here to call it home, different countries. I read somewhere that there are like 50 or so languages or dialects spoken here. So it's just like a huge diversity melting pot that I love, and I'm glad that I get to raise my daughter here. The second thing is that there's always something to do. And it doesn't mean that you have to pay for it, right? So I love that Houston secretly is like low key, very, very low key. Houston is like super green. There's tons of parks. There's tons of like free things you can do. One of our favorite things to do is go to Discovery Green and just kind of let Chandler run around. We also love hitting the bayou, just going out there, sitting out there in that little pavilion, just kind of letting that breeze hit, taking a walk around the bayou. It's just something that is just peaceful about being out there, super free, super chill. Usually you can always find somewhere to park. And it's just low key, and I just love that there's always kind of something low key that you can do in the city of Houston, right? And the next thing that I would like to say is traffic can be crazy because this place is growing like crazy, right? I read an article, I think it was in the New York Times the other day, that there's like 350 people a day that are moving to the city of Houston. So to put that into perspective, right? Let's say that your average like mid-rise apartment is like 300 or 400 units. That many people are moving here a day. Now you have some people leaving and going on to greener pastures and leaving the city. So it's not like you're just overflowed and there's nowhere you can go, right? But you can feel it. You can see the amount of cars, you can see the amount of people when you go out and you're shopping or you're going to a restaurant. You can just feel the vibrance of the city just because there are a lot of people that are coming here for new opportunities. They're coming here for a new lifestyle, a new chance, maybe lower living costs than, let's say, in New York or California or wherever they're transferring from, right? They're looking for a new opportunity, and they look at the greater city of Houston and say that, hey, this could be a great opportunity, and I would agree with them. There's so many opportunities here, so much great lifestyle that you can get here. The fourth thing is that we are the medical capital of the world. We have like the greatest medical city in the world, right? Texas Medical Center has X amount of like tens of thousands of medical staff that are here. So if you're in the medical field, this is definitely the way to go. And I know that, and I'm feeling that firsthand because I have so many great clients that are nurses and doctors, nurse practitioners and all that stuff. It is just a great opportunity for anybody that's coming from a different location, maybe a smaller town. I know I have a lot of people that come from Baton Rouge, where I'm from, to relocate here, and they use my services, and I think it's just a great place to be. especially if you're in the medical field. But not even if you're in the medical field. If you need medical attention, they have so many cancer specialists, so many like rare disease specialists out here that Houston is just one of the greatest places you can be for that. Now this one gets a little tricky, and as somebody that kind of like benefits from it, I'm in what is a gentrifying area of like Independence Heights, and gentrifying and gentrification can have like a ugly connotation, but it can also have a beautiful connotation, right? I'm one of those people that's in the real estate space, and I can see things as gray, not necessarily as black and white, right? But the reality is that there are a lot of communities that are being taken over and redeveloped, and the existing people are being either pushed out or they can no longer afford to be there, right? That's just the reality of what gentrification is. And gentrification in the city of Houston is real. You'll see it all over the greater city of Houston, right? You're gonna see it in Sunnyside, you're gonna see it in 5th Ward, you're gonna see it in 3rd Ward, you're gonna see it in Edo, you're gonna see it in Midtown, you're gonna see it up there by us in the Independence Heights area, Spring Branch. You're gonna see it all over, where you'll be riding down the street and you'll see something that just looks super depressed, maybe super just old, maybe deferred maintenance, maybe abandoned, and then you're gonna see a triple stack townhome that's worth $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000, $600,000 right on side of it, right? And gentrification is real. If that's not something that you're interested in, I don't know if Houston's gonna be the city for you, or you're gonna have to stay inside and not really travel anywhere, because any direction you go, gentrification is real, and it is happening in a real way in the city of Houston. Piggybacking off of that, something that is unique, or I don't know if it's unique or if it's more so something that was a culture shock for me coming from Baton Rouge and living here now in such a huge, big city, is that there's no zoning. And so what that means is basically you can have a multi-million-dollar house on the side of a pawn shop, or it can be like right next door to a gas station, or it can be like right next door to a Walmart, right? You can have those kind of things occur here because there's no zoning. In other places that I've lived, there seemed to be a little bit more of a defined, this is residential, this is commercial, this is industrial, like separation point. But here you don't really feel that. And right now I'm actually doing a new construction tour. I'm waiting on my client to get here. I think she's gonna end up buying this one, so I'm super excited for her. I'm hoping that she does, because I think it hits all the marks. But within walking distance of here, there was a pawn shop, there was a car inspection shop, there's like 5 or 6 restaurants right up here on 20th Street. So it's just with the no zoning, you're gonna be in a place where you have access and easeability to kind of get to everywhere. If you're living in the actual city of Houston and not in one of the suburbs, you have the ease of access to get pretty much anywhere, but you're probably gonna be by some stuff that may be sketchy if you're not in a deed restricted area. The next thing, and this one is kind of one of those ones that people don't like to talk about, but I like to keep it real, and that is the city of Houston is dangerous as shit, right? So if there's trafficking of any sort, people, animals, drugs, Houston is probably like top 5, top 10 in any stat that is danger, assault, your battery, violence, gun violence, anything, theft. Houston is one of the worst cities stat-wise in the world, right? And there's my thoughts on why that is. I think a lot of it has to do with gentrification. I think a lot of it has to do with the city planning and socioeconomic clashes of putting different classes of people together. You know, you think about it, you go in and demolish a grocery store that maybe served that community the whole time, and you put townhomes there, right? Of course there might be a potential that somebody who saw that change right before their very eyes could feel a way about that, especially if they can't afford that townhome, right? So that kind of thing happens. And even in some of the most sought after, desirable neighborhoods, we talking like Montrose, Upper Kirby, we're talking the Heights, we're talking Edo, we're talking some of these areas that are very highfalutin. If you go on the Ring app, and my wife and I, like I said, we're in Independence Heights, so we're tied to the same ring radius as the Heights. If you saw the ring, if you saw the ring alerts that I see for thefts or robberies or assaults in the Heights, which is almost double the price of our house, and it's supposed to be a safer area, if you saw that, you would be like, oh my goodness, right? And you're about to pay $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 for a house and, you know, have your car broken into, right? So it's one of those things where you have to be on alert. You kind of can't have this naive spirit that you're gonna be safe and everything. Now, thank God, my wife and I haven't had any major issues. We've had one time where we were in Midtown and there was a homeless guy that like got into our building complex and was like sleeping there with his dog like overnight, and I stumbled upon them at the elevator kind of thing. The only other thing we had was my wife's car got broken into at that same apartment in Midtown. They didn't take anything, they didn't even break glass, they just kind of opened her door, saw she didn't have anything. So we got lucky, right? We got lucky. But I have tons of clients, friends, family that weren't so lucky, that didn't have that experience. So you have to kind of understand that it's such a big city, and anytime you're in a big city, there's the potential for things to get dangerous and for things to happen so fast. You know, not to mention that this is like the trafficking capital of the world. There's just so many things that can go bad so fast here, so you kind of got to be alert. But if you're alert and you kind of stay on the swivel, I think you'll be okay. But you just have to be vigilant of staying alert. And the last thing, and this is kind of for the people that are thinking about buying in the city, values are shooting up, especially if you did like my wife and I did and you buy on the Fringe. So we wanted to be in the Heights, would love to be in the Heights, would love to be in Shady Acres or any of these places like I'm touring right now. But at that point in time, that wasn't in my budget. And I'm not even gonna stunt. That wasn't in my budget, right? But if you can buy on some of these places that are in the Fringe, so we're talking like Fifth Ward, Independence Heights, Spring Branch, some of those locations that are medical center style. If you're buying Sunnyside, if you're buying some of those places that are fringe to the city and can get the look, the aesthetics, the beauty of this, which you wouldn't get in the suburb without paying a super premium. If you can get something that looks like this and on the Fringe, you are gonna win. My wife and I are up like $75,000 right now for buying a house that was Heights adjacent. 2 years ago, we're up like 70,000 because of the values are shooting up, and it's the way to go and it's the way to buy. So if you're definitely looking at this as a financial play, especially for the real estate state of mind, you definitely are going to want to buy on the Fringe. You can't lose. There's always going to be a market for people that want to rent and be close to the city and close to the amenities but can't afford to buy a home. And if you buy right now in one of those areas, you can't lose. So that's the video for the day. These are some of the reasons why I think living in the city of Houston is dope. Some of the things that I want to note that I want you to think about. You know, moving to the city is a big step. It was one that we were afraid to do kind of at that point in time, but the opportunity to kind of like move here and start our life basically over. And it's been a situation where it's been nothing but blessings since we've been here. There are some challenges to living here, but all in all, it's an amazing place to be, and I'm happy to call the city of Houston home. If you have any questions about anything, about where to eat, sleep, live, play, shoot me a text. That's probably the quickest way to get in touch with me. Hit me with a DM, hit my social media, email, call, whatever you gotta do to get in touch with me. I'm Aaron. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a great week.